Welcome, dear listener, to a journey not just into the depths of slumber, but into the very fabric of possibility. Tonight, we gently open the curtain to a realm often overlooked, a private universe that unfolds each night as the world outside fades. Forget just sleeping. What if your dreams became your personal playground? A hyper-realistic virtual reality accessible every single night. The science is catching up to the wildest sci-fi, and in just a few years, manipulating our dreamscapes could be as common as setting an alarm. Prepare to dive into the mind-bending possibilities of conscious dream control. Dot and what it means for the very fabric of human experience. So settle in, breathe deeply, and let your mind drift with the current of our exploration, free, as we consider a future where the line between waking and dreaming begins to softly blur. Have you ever woken from a dream so incredibly vivid, so richly textured, that for a fleeting moment you wondered if it was real? Perhaps you soared through sun-drenched skies, or conversed with figures long departed, or navigated labyrinthine corridors where the rules of physics gently bent. These nocturnal narratives, often ephemeral as morning mist, have captivated humanity since the dawn of consciousness. From the earliest campfires to the glowing screens of today, we have gazed into the mysterious pool of dreams, seeking meaning, guidance, and understanding. For millennia, humans have pondered the elusive nature of dreams. Ancient civilizations, nestled under vast, star-pricked skies, often saw dreams as divine messages, prophecies whispered by deities, or journeys of the soul into other realms. The Egyptians believed dreams were a means of communication with the gods, and even built dream temples where seekers would sleep, hoping for revelations. The Greeks, too, looked to dreams for guidance, viewing them as insights from the underworld or from the healing god Asclepius. Across cultures, from indigenous traditions that honored dreamtime as a sacred space for ancestral connection, to the intricate dream interpretation manuals of classical China, there was a universal recognition of dreams as something more than mere jumbles of images. They were a language to be deciphered, a hidden wisdom to be unveiled. Then, as the human mind turned inward with the advent of psychology, the interpretations shifted. In the early Ersatz century, Sigmund Freud proposed that dreams were the royal road to the unconscious, a symbolic expression of our deepest desires, repressed memories, and unresolved conflicts. For Freud, every dream was a veiled wish fulfillment, a coded message from the hidden depths of our psyche, while his specific interpretations have largely been re-evaluated by modern science. His enduring legacy lies in cementing the idea that dreams hold profound personal significance, that they are not random, but deeply connected to who we are, a personal story unfolding in the quietude of our minds. Carl Jung, a contemporary of Freud, expanded on this, suggesting dreams tapped into a collective unconscious, a shared reservoir of archetypes and universal symbols common to all humanity. He saw dreams as not just revealing our past, but also guiding us towards future growth and individuation. Today, our scientific understanding, while still incomplete, paints a more intricate picture, a delicate dance of neural activity and biological purpose. We now know that dreams primarily occur during a distinct phase of sleep known as rapid eye movement, or REM sleep. As you drift into this profound stage, your brain becomes remarkably active, almost as if it were awake, yet your body remains largely paralyzed, a protective mechanism preventing you from acting out your dreamscapes. Brain scans during REM reveal bursts of activity in areas associated with emotion, memory, and visual processing, creating the vivid, often bizarre narratives we experience. Scientists propose various theories for why we dream, each offering a gentle insight into this nocturnal symphony. Some believe dreams are a vital part of memory consolidation, the brain's way of sifting through the day's events, filing away important information, and discarding the irrelevant. Others suggest dreams serve an emotional regulatory function, allowing us to process difficult feelings, resolve conflicts, and integrate new experiences in a safe internal space. Think of it as your mind's gentle therapy session, a quiet room where you can rehearse reactions and explore anxieties without consequence. There's also the theory that dreams are a form of problem solving, a creative canvas where novel solutions can emerge from the unconscious mind, free from the constraints of waking logic. And some even propose dreams as a threat simulation, a way for our ancient brains to practice escaping dangerous situations, sharpening our survival instincts in a safe, simulated environment. Each theory offers a glimpse into the profound work our minds undertake each night, a silent, complex performance that shapes our understanding of ourselves and the world. Can you imagine for a moment being fully aware that you are dreaming? The vibrant colors, the curiosity, the sense of unreality, you recognize it all as a construct of your own mind. And then, gently, you begin to exert control. Perhaps you decide to float effortlessly through the air, or change the scenery with a mere thought, transforming a bustling city street into a serene forest grove. This incredible phenomenon is known as lucid dreaming, the conscious awareness of being in a dream state while the dream is unfolding. It is a profound shift from passive observation to active participation, like stepping from the audience onto the stage of your own nocturnal play. Lucid dreaming is not merely a curious trick of the mind. It is a gateway. For those who experience it, the dream realm transforms from a chaotic, unpredictable landscape into a personal canvas, a boundless space where imagination truly becomes reality. The ability to become lucid often occurs spontaneously for some, a fleeting moment of clarity amidst the dream's fog. But for others, it is a skill that can be cultivated, gently nurtured through dedicated practice and specific techniques. One of the most widely recognized methods for inducing lucidity is the mnemonic induction of lucid dreams, or Meidlid technique. This involves setting an intention before sleep, repeating to yourself, "Next time I am dreaming, I will remember that I am dreaming." It's a subtle form of auto-suggestion, like planting a tiny seed in the fertile ground of your subconscious mind. Alongside this, Meidlid encourages reality testing during the day. Periodically, you might ask yourself, "Am I dreaming right now?" And then perform a simple check, like trying to push your finger through your palm, or looking at a digital clock twice to see if the time changes unnaturally. These small, consistent acts of questioning train your mind to be more aware, carrying that habit into your dream state. When a familiar reality check fails within a dream, it can often trigger the sudden realization that you are indeed dreaming. Another effective technique is wake back to bed, or WBTB. This involves waking up after about 5 or 6 hours of sleep, typically during a period of REM sleep, staying awake for a short time, perhaps Arstalosher minutes, and then returning to sleep. The idea is that this interruption heightens your state of consciousness just as you re-enter a period of active dreaming, making it easier to become aware within the dream. During the awake period, you might engage in a quiet, mindful activity, perhaps reading about lucid dreaming or simply reflecting on your intention to become lucid. It's a gentle nudge to the mind, preparing it for the transition into a conscious dream state. Beyond these mental exercises, emerging technologies are beginning to offer a subtle helping hand. Sleep masks, for instance, are being developed that can detect when you enter REM sleep. Once this state is identified, they might emit a gentle, non-waking light pattern or a soft, tactile vibration, perhaps a subtle pulse on your wrist. These sensory cues are designed to be integrated into your dream narrative, appearing as an odd flash of light or a strange tremor within the dream itself. If your mind is trained to recognize these unusual occurrences as a sign that you are dreaming, they can act as a trigger for lucidity, a gentle tap on the shoulder from the waking world, inviting you to become. The applications of lucid dreaming are as vast and varied as the human imagination itself. For many, it offers a profound way to overcome recurring nightmares. By recognizing they are in a dream, individuals can confront their fears, change the narrative, or simply choose to wake themselves up, transforming a terrifying experience into an empowering one. It becomes a safe space to process and reframe anxieties. Beyond healing, lucid dreaming offers an unparalleled environment for practicing skills. Musicians can rehearse intricate pieces, athletes can perfect complex movements, and public speakers can practice their delivery, all within a hyper-realistic simulation where mistakes carry no real-world consequences. This mental rehearsal can translate into genuine improvements in waking life. The creative potential is immense. Artists can paint masterpieces on an infinite canvas. Writers can explore new story ideas, and inventors can visualize complex designs, all without the limitations of physical materials or the constraints of reality. The dream world becomes a boundless studio, a sanctuary for pure ideation, and perhaps most profoundly, lucid dreaming holds significant promise for psychological therapy. It can be a safe space to confront past traumas, to engage in self-exploration, or to resolve internal conflicts. Imagine having a guided conversation with an aspect of your subconscious mind, working through deeply held beliefs or emotional patterns. In this conscious dream state, the mind can be a profound healer, offering insights and opportunities for growth that might be inaccessible in waking life. It's a quiet revolution, unfolding one conscious dream at a time. You know, as we stand on the precipice of a new era in sleep science, the intersection of technology and dreams is becoming ever more intricate and fascinating. No longer content with merely observing our nocturnal journeys, innovators are exploring ways to gently augment and interact with them, subtly shifting the boundaries of our inner worlds. These aren't the invasive, futuristic devices of science fiction nightmares, but rather a spectrum of tools, from the surprisingly simple to the elegantly complex, all designed to enhance our relationship with our dreams. Consider the burgeoning field of neuromodulation devices. These are not about directly implanting thoughts, but rather about providing subtle, non-invasive electrical or magnetic stimulation to the brain. Take, for instance, transcranial alternating current stimulation, or TACS. This involves placing electrodes gently on the scalp, which then deliver very low-level electrical currents, precisely timed to influence brainwave patterns. Early research suggests that specific frequencies of TACS, particularly those in the gamma and theta ranges, might enhance the brain activity associated with lucid dreaming or improve dream recall. The idea is to gently tune the brain's internal radio, making it more receptive to conscious awareness within the dream state. Similarly, transcranial direct current stimulation, TDCS, applies a steady, low current to targeted brain regions, and some studies are exploring its potential to subtly influence cognitive functions relevant to dreaming, such as memory and attention. These devices are still very much in the experimental phase, their effects subtle and requiring further rigorous study, but they whisper promises of a future where our brains can be gently encouraged into new states of nocturnal experience beyond direct brain stimulation. More passive yet equally insightful technologies are quietly transforming our understanding and interaction with sleep. Advanced wearables and sleep trackers have moved far beyond simply counting steps. Today, sophisticated devices, worn gently on the wrist or integrated into our mattresses, monitor a rich tapestry of physiological data, heart rate variability, skin temperature, breathing patterns, and even subtle movements that indicate sleep stages. By analyzing these intricate patterns, these devices can accurately detect when you enter REM sleep, the fertile ground of our most vivid dreams. But their utility extends beyond. Some smart alarms, for example, are designed to wake you during a light sleep phase, often just after a period of REM, making dream recall significantly easier. The gentle vibration or soft sound emerges at the optimal moment, like a quiet hand guiding you back from a deep reverie, allowing the dream's intricate details to linger on the edge of your waking mind. Furthermore, some cutting-edge trackers are experimenting with biofeedback. Imagine a device that gently vibrates when it detects signs of a stressful dream, subtly shifting your awareness or helping you to relax, perhaps preventing a nightmare from fully unfolding. These devices represent a partnership between body and technology, silently working to optimize your sleep architecture and open the door to conscious dream exploration. In looking further into the horizon, the realm of pure speculation opens up, hinting at a dream machine future that sounds like something pulled from the deepest reaches of science fiction. While purely theoretical for now, imagine hypothetical advanced interfaces that could directly translate thoughts and intentions into structured dreamscapes. This would move beyond subtle nudges and into direct creation. Perhaps a neural interface, worn as lightly as a cap, could read the subtle electrical signals of your brain, not just to interpret your thoughts, but to feed back precisely tailored sensory experiences that manifest as dream elements. You might think of a serene beach, and instantly the warmth of the sun, the scent of salt air, and the gentle lapping of waves would populate your dream world. Such a machine might even allow for pre-programming dreams where you could choose a specific theme, scenario, or learning objective before sleep, and the device would generate a custom tailored dream experience. Imagine learning a new language by conversing fluently in your sleep, or exploring complex historical events by living through them in a vivid, interactive dream. While the ethical considerations of such powerful technology are immense and demand careful contemplation, the sheer potential for profound experiences, deep learning, and unparalleled creativity is undeniably captivating. It says a distant whisper on the wind, a vision of human consciousness extending its reach not just into the digital realm, but into the very fabric of our subjective experience, making our nocturnal journeys a frontier of boundless possibility. As we gently step further into the exciting possibilities of dream control, a quiet but profound question begins to emerge from the shadows of our speculation. If our dreams, these most intimate and personal of realms, become controllable, where do our internal boundaries truly lie? This isn't just a technical challenge. It's a deeply philosophical one, touching upon the very essence of what it means to be a conscious being. You know, for centuries, our dreams have been considered the last bastion of true personal freedom. They are the untamed wilderness of the mind, a space where our deepest fears and desires, our wildest imaginings and most private thoughts can unfurl without censorship or external influence. In the waking world, we constantly navigate societal norms, expectations, and the watchful eyes of others. But in the dream state, we are truly alone, free to explore any thought, any feeling, any identity without judgment. It is a sacred inner sanctuary, a private theater where we are both playwright and audience. Now imagine a future where this inner sanctuary, this final frontier of individual autonomy, could be intentionally influenced or even shaped by external means. While the idea of lucid dreaming, where you are the one exerting control, feels empowering and liberating, the introduction of technology, even subtle technology, raises a delicate concern. If a device can gently nudge you towards lucidity, could it also, perhaps unknowingly, nudge you towards certain types of dream experiences? If you can choose to have a specific kind of dream, is there a potential slippery slope where someone else might choose for you or subtly influence your choices? The very concept of self is intricately linked to our internal experiences. Our thoughts, our feelings, our memories, these are the building blocks of our identity. Dreams, in their raw, unfiltered form, are a reflection of our subconscious mind, a profound dialogue between different parts of ourselves. To tamper with this process, even with the best intentions, could be seen as an intrusion upon the most fundamental aspect of our being. Where does the self end and the controlled experience begin? If a dream is no longer a spontaneous expression of our inner world, but a pre-programmed or externally influenced narrative, does it diminish its authenticity? Does it subtly alter who we are, even in a way we cannot immediately perceive? While we might not be consciously aware of the content of our dreams, they are undeniably ours. They are the unedited scripts of our inner lives. If technology advances to a point where dream content could be read or even merely influenced, the idea of an inviolable inner space begins to dissolve. This leads to questions of a concept still very much in its infancy in our legal and ethical frameworks. What protections would be put in place to ensure that our nocturnal narratives remain truly ours, free from surveillance? The core of this ethical challenge lies in defining the boundaries of our consciousness itself. If our dreams are indeed a vital part of our conscious and subconscious processing, then any intervention demands the utmost respect for personal autonomy. It's as a call for vigilance, a gentle reminder that as we explore the exciting new frontiers of dream control, we must also carefully guard the quiet garden of our inner freedom, ensuring that our nocturnal journeys remain truly our own, reflecting the beautiful, complex, and unpredictable landscape of our unique human spirit. As we delve deeper into the delicate terrain of dream control, we encounter a particularly sensitive ethical intersection, the fine line between its immense therapeutic potential and the chilling possibility of abuse. Dreams, as we've explored, are powerful mirrors of our inner world, and the ability to consciously interact with them offers profound avenues for healing. Yet this very power demands a deep sense of responsibility and foresight, lest it be wielded in ways that cause harm. Imagine the immense healing power of targeted dream therapy. For individuals grappling with post-traumatic stress disorder PTSD, nightmares are a cruel and relentless reliving of past horrors. The ability to become lucid within these nightmares, to recognize them as dreams, and then to gently alter the narrative or confront the traumatic imagery in a safe, controlled environment could be truly. It offers a path to reprocessing traumatic memories, to reclaiming agency over one's own internal landscape. Similarly, for those struggling with phobias or anxieties, the dream world could become a controlled exposure therapy chamber where fears can be faced and gradually desensitized without real world risk. Dream control could facilitate deep self exploration, allowing individuals to commune with their subconscious, resolve internal conflicts, or practice new coping mechanisms in a deeply personal and meaningful way. It's a vision of mental wellness rooted in profound self awareness, where the inner world becomes a fertile ground for growth and recovery. However, the very power that promises such healing also casts a long, unsettling shadow. The human mind, especially the subconscious, is exquisitely vulnerable to suggestion. If dreams can be influenced for therapeutic ends, could they also be manipulated for nefarious purposes? Consider the chilling prospect of implanting suggestions or ideas into a person's subconscious during their sleep. While currently speculative, if advanced dream control technologies could directly or indirectly introduce specific narratives, emotions, or even beliefs into a dream, the ethical implications are staggering. This isn't just about influencing a dream. It's about potentially shaping a person's inner reality, their perceptions, and their very values without their conscious consent. The line between therapeutic guidance and subtle coercion becomes incredibly fragile here. For example, a therapist might guide a patient to explore certain themes in their dreams for healing. But what if the therapeutic relationship is compromised or the technology falls into the wrong hands? Could subliminal messages be embedded within dream-inducing technology, gently swaying opinions or desires? Could dreams be used to promote specific products, ideologies, or even political agendas, bypassing our critical waking faculties entirely? The idea of dream advertising or dream propaganda is a disturbing one, as it targets the most vulnerable and unfiltered part of our psyche. Safeguarding against such abuse would require robust ethical frameworks, strict regulations, and a profound commitment to individual autonomy. Consent would become an even more complex concept, extending not just to waking choices, but to the very sanctity of our unconscious experience. We would need clear guidelines on who can access and influence dream technology, for what purposes, and with what level of transparency. The development of these technologies must be accompanied by an equally rigorous discussion about their ethical boundaries, ensuring that the power to shape our internal worlds remains firmly in the hands of the individual, used only for healing, growth, and self-discovery, never for manipulation or control. It is a profound responsibility, a delicate balancing act between offering a balm for the soul and respecting the inviolable sanctity of the human spirit. As we venture further into the intricate web of dream control, beyond the personal realms of freedom and therapy, we encounter its broad. If manipulating our nocturnal experiences becomes a widespread reality, the very fabric of human society, our culture, our economy, and our daily interactions could undergo profound and perhaps unforeseen transformations. The implications ripple outward, creating new landscapes of possibility, but also new valleys of concern. Consider the potential for new forms of entertainment. Imagine immersive, hyper-realistic dream experiences designed by master storytellers, accessible to anyone with the right technology. Instead of passively watching a film or playing a video game, you could actively participate in a dream narrative, feeling every emotion, experiencing every sensation, shaping the plot with your own choices. This could lead to an entirely new industry, a dreamscape tourism, where individuals pay to explore fantastical worlds, relive historical events, or even meet celebrity dream characters. While this offers unprecedented levels of escapism and creative expression, it also raises questions about addiction. Could people become so engrossed in their perfect dream lives that they neglect their waking responsibilities, preferring the curated bliss of a dream to the messy complexities of reality? The educational potential is equally tantalizing. Imagine learning a new skill not just by reading about it or watching a video, but by performing it flawlessly in a dream. A medical student could perform complex surgeries in a simulated dream environment. A pilot could log countless hours of flight time, or a musician could master a difficult concerto, all while asleep. This could revolutionize learning, making it deeply experiential, efficient, and highly personalized. Children could explore historical periods or scientific concepts not from textbooks, but by living within them. However, this also raises questions about the nature of true knowledge and skill. Does learning in a dream translate perfectly to waking proficiency? And could it create a societal divide between those with access to such advanced learning tools and those without, existing inequalities? Perhaps the most unsettling societal implication lies in the realm of advertising and influence. If dreams can be subtly influenced, even without our conscious awareness, then the very concept of subconscious advertising takes on a chilling new dimension. Imagine a company paying to subtly integrate its brand image or product benefits into your dreams, playing on your desires and aspirations while you are in your most vulnerable, suggestible state. This would bypass all traditional ethical guidelines for advertising, as there would be no conscious consent, no critical filtering. This could lead to a pervasive, invisible form of manipulation where our desires and choices are shaped not by genuine need or preference, but by expertly crafted nocturnal suggestions. Beyond direct advertising, there's the broader concern of subconscious propaganda or ideological influence. Could certain ideas, values, or political narratives be gently woven into shared dream experiences, shaping public opinion without direct conscious debate? The dream space, once a bastion of personal privacy, could become a battleground for influence, a new frontier for controlling narrative and shaping collective thought. The implications for our social interactions are also vast. If we can share dream experiences, how would that alter our sense of connection, intimacy, and empathy? Could shared dreaming lead to deeper understanding? Or could it create new forms of social pressure and expectation? The answers are complex and multifaceted, requiring careful ethical consideration alongside technological advancement. As we peer into this future, we must ask ourselves, as a society, eh, what kind of dream future do we wish to build? One that empowers and enlightens, or one that subtly erodes our autonomy and shapes our deepest desires without our conscious consent? It is a discussion that must begin now quietly, but with great foresight. Our journey into the future of sleep and the very idea of hacking dreams ultimately leads us to a profound, timeless frontier, the pursuit of consciousness itself. The ability to control or even influence our dreams is not merely a technological feat. It is a direct engagement with the most mysterious and fundamental aspect of human existence, our awareness, our subjective experience, the very eye that perceives the world. As we learn to navigate and shape our nocturnal landscapes, we are, in essence, pushing the boundaries of understanding our own minds and the very nature of reality. Dreams, in their spontaneous and often surreal manifestation, are a constant reminder that our minds are capable of creating entire worlds, complete with vivid sensory details, complex narratives, and deep emotional resonance, all from within. They highlight the incredible generative power of the brain. When we become lucid within a dream and realize that this immersive reality is a construct of our own making, it can be a deeply revelatory experience. It blurs the lines between what is real and what is perceived, inviting us to question the solidity of our waking reality. Is our waking world merely a more stable, agreed upon dream? These are ancient philosophical questions, but dream hacking provides a new experiential lens through which to explore them. The exploration of dreams, especially through the lens of conscious control, offers unique insights into the architecture of consciousness. How do our memories, emotions, and past experiences coalesce into a dream narrative? What happens in the brain when we transition from passive dreaming to active lucidity? By studying these transitions and the brain states associated with them, scientists hope to unravel the neural correlates of consciousness, the specific brain activities that give rise to our subjective experience. Understanding how we become aware within a dream could provide crucial clues to how we become aware at all. Plaster it. It's like finding a hidden switch that illuminates a part of the engine we could previously only observe from the outside. Furthermore, the very act of attempting to control dreams requires a heightened level of self-awareness and metacognition, thinking about thinking. It encourages us to pay closer attention to our internal states, to recognize patterns in our thoughts and feelings, and to cultivate a sense of presence even in the depths of sleep. This introspection, fostered by the pursuit of lucidity, can have ripple effects on our waking lives, making us more mindful, more attuned to our inner landscape, and more conscious of the choices we make. It is a gentle cultivation of the self, extending into the hours of darkness. The quest to hack dreams is in many ways a modern manifestation of humanity's enduring fascination with the mind's inner workings. From ancient shamans seeking visions to modern neuroscientists mapping neural pathways, the desire to understand and perhaps even master our own consciousness has been a constant driving force. Dream control provides a novel and deeply personal experimental ground for this pursuit. It's an invitation to become both the observer and the observed, the explorer and the landscape itself. As we continue to gently probe the mechanisms of dreaming and awareness, we are not just unlocking the secrets of sleep, we are unlocking deeper truths about the human condition. We are discovering new dimensions of our own capacity for creativity, for self-healing, and for experiencing reality in ways we previously could only imagine. The dream frontier is not just a scientific challenge. It is a profound journey into the very heart of what it means to be alive and aware, a quiet revolution unfolding within the silent chambers of our minds. But the gentle hum of scientific inquiry continues, pushing the boundaries of what we understand about dreams and the mind. While much of what we've discussed today still resides in the realm of emerging possibilities and careful ethical considerations, there are concrete avenues of research being actively explored right now paving the way for future breakthroughs that could redefine our relationship with our nocturnal worlds. These are not just theoretical musings. They are the quiet, diligent work of scientists seeking to peel back the layers of the sleeping mind. One significant area of focus is targeted dream recall. Have you ever had a powerful dream only for its vivid details to dissipate like morning mist upon waking? Scientists are developing techniques and technologies to improve our ability to remember dreams, a crucial first step for any form of conscious interaction. This involves precise timing of gentle alarms during specific phases of sleep, particularly at the tail end of REM cycles when the brain dot is most poised to transition to wakefulness with memories intact. Researchers are also exploring the use of auditory cues, playing specific subtle sounds or spoken words during certain sleep stages, hoping that these sounds will be incorporated into the dream narrative and act as a mental bookmark, making the dream easier to recall upon waking. Imagine a gentle chime that, in your dream, becomes a bell tower, helping you pinpoint that specific part of your sleep journey later on. You know, Beyond mere recall, there's growing interest in targeted dream incubation. This involves influencing the prey content of dreams, not through direct manipulation, but through pre-sleep suggestion. Experiments are testing whether exposure to specific stimuli, images, sounds, or even spoken narratives before falling asleep can increase the likelihood of those themes appearing in one's dreams. This could have gentle therapeutic applications, such as encouraging positive dream content for those prone to nightmares, or helping individuals process specific emotional challenges by guiding their subconscious towards constructive dream narratives. It's like planting a particular type of seed in the garden of your mind, hoping for a specific kind of bloom to appear in your sleep. Perhaps the most fascinating and deeply speculative frontier lies in the concept of shared dream experiences. While currently far from any practical reality, the idea suggests a profound shift in human connection. Imagine a future where two or more individuals, perhaps equipped with advanced neural interfaces, could enter a shared dream space, experiencing the same narrative, interacting within the same internal landscape. This isn't telepathy in the waking world, but a consensual, technologically mediated form of collective dreaming. If achieved, this could revolutionize human empathy and understanding, allowing us to truly walk a mile in someone else's dream, to experience their. It could open unparalleled avenues for collaborative creativity, shared learning, or even new forms of intimate connection between loved ones. The scientific challenges are immense, from synchronizing brain states to translating neural signals into a coherent, shared sensory experience, but the very contemplation of it invites us to ponder new dimensions of human interaction. Current research often utilizes sophisticated neuroimaging techniques like fMRI and EEG to map brain activity during different sleep stages, correlating specific brainwave patterns with reported dream experiences. This detailed mapping helps scientists understand the neural underpinnings of dreaming and lucidity, providing a roadmap for future interventions. Furthermore, behavioral experiments continue to refine reality testing techniques and other cognitive strategies for inducing lucidity, empowering individuals to explore their own dream worlds with greater intention. The future of dream research is a vibrant tapestry, woven with threads of neuroscience, psychology, and cutting-edge technology. It's a journey into the uncharted territories of the human mind, driven by curiosity and a deep desire to understand the silent nightly symphony that plays within us all. Each breakthrough, no matter how small, brings us a step closer to gently unlocking the profound potential hidden within the realm of sleep. Beyond the fascinating science and the intricate ethics, the exploration of dream control beckons us towards a quieter, yet profoundly powerful frontier, the boundless canvas for creativity and self-discovery. If we can consciously navigate and even shape our nocturnal worlds, our dreams transform from fleeting, enigmatic experiences into a profound tool for personal growth, artistic expression, and a deeper understanding of who we truly are. This is where the artistry of the mind meets the gentle craft of self-exploration. Imagine a painter struggling with a creative block, gently entering a lucid dream. In this limitless space, they can conjure any color, any form, any light. They can experiment with compositions without the constraint of physical materials, painting on infinite canvases, watching their creations flow and morph with a mere thought. The impossible becomes possible. Colors shimmer with sounds, forms dance with emotions. The dream becomes a living, breathing studio where ideas can be explored in their rawest, most visceral form, often leading to breakthroughs that translate directly back to waking artistic endeavors. Musicians might compose intricate symphonies, hearing every note perfectly, experiencing the full emotional resonance of their melodies before ever touching an instrument. Writers could step directly into their narratives, walking alongside their characters, exploring plot twists and dialogue with an unparalleled sense of immersion, allowing their stories to unfold from within. The dream world becomes an infinite wellspring of inspiration, a direct line to the wellspring of creative genius. But the Dreamweaver-esque canvas extends far beyond artistic expression. It is also a profound space for self-discovery and personal growth. In the dream realm, the usual social filters and waking inhibitions often dissolve. This allows us to interact with different aspects of our own psyche, to confront fears or unresolved emotions in a safe, symbolic environment. Imagine having a gentle, insightful conversation with a dream character that embodies a repressed part of yourself, or exploring a landscape that represents your current emotional state. Lucid dreaming can offer a unique form of introspective therapy where you are both client and guide, gently probing the depths of your own being. This inner exploration can lead to deeper self-awareness, helping us to understand our motivations, our patterns of behavior, and the origins of our anxieties or joys. It's like tending to a secret garden within, recognizing each unique flower and understanding its purpose. For those seeking personal mastery, the dream world offers a unique training ground. Imagine practicing difficult conversations, rehearsing challenging presentations, or even developing new habits in a risk-free environment. The brain often does distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one, meaning that mental rehearsal in a lucid dream can lay down neural pathways that facilitate real-world performance. Furthermore, dreams often tap into our deepest values and aspirations. By consciously engaging with these nocturnal narratives, we can gain clarity on our life's direction, uncover hidden talents, or solidify our sense of purpose. It's a space where we can truly experiment with identity, trying on different roles or perspectives without real-world consequences, fostering a deeper understanding of who we are and who we aspire to become. The dream canvas is not just for creating external art, but for sculpting the masterpiece of the self. In this quiet realm where imagination holds sway, the potential for human blossoming is immense. It's a testament to the extraordinary capabilities of the human mind, reminding us that even in our deepest slumber, there lies a vast, untapped potential for creativity, healing, and profound self understanding. The Dreamweaver's canvas awaits, inviting us to gently pick up the brush and begin painting the vibrant story of our own becoming. As our tranquil journey through the intricate world of dreams and the emerging possibilities of dream hacking draws to a close, we find ourselves standing at the very edge of a new frontier. We have wandered through ancient interpretations, explored the modern science of REM sleep, marveled at the conscious awareness of lucid dreaming, and glimpsed the future where technology might gently guide our nocturnal narratives. We have also carefully navigated the complex ethical landscapes, pondering the sacredness of personal freedom, the delicate balance between therapy and manipulation, and the profound societal shifts that might accompany widespread dream control. You know, the future of sleep is not merely about achieving deeper rest. It is about unlocking new dimensions of human experience. It's about recognizing that our nights are not just periods of unconscious recuperation, but fertile ground for growth, creativity, and self discovery. The ability to hack dreams in its gentlest form empowers us to become active participants in this nightly journey, transforming a passive experience into a vibrant, interactive exploration of our inner worlds. It pushes the boundaries of what we understand about consciousness itself, asking us to reconsider the very nature of reality and the boundless potential of the human mind. From overcoming debilitating nightmares to practicing new skills, from igniting creative sparks to engaging in profound self therapy, the potential benefits of conscious dream control are immense. Imagine a world where individuals feel more empowered, more creative, and more deeply connected to their inner selves, simply by learning to navigate the landscapes of their dreams. This quiet revolution promises to enrich our personal lives in countless ways, offering a new avenue for well-being and personal mastery. And however, as with any powerful frontier, the immense potential is twinned with significant responsibilities. The very intimacy of the dream space demands the utmost respect for personal autonomy and privacy. As technology progresses, the ethical discussions we've touched upon regarding consent, manipulation, and the sanctity of the individual mind become not abstract philosophical debates, but urgent practical considerations. We must ensure that these powerful tools are developed and used with wisdom, foresight, and a profound commitment to human flourishing. The dream world should remain a sanctuary, a space where the individual reigns supreme, even as we seek to understand and interact with it more deeply. So as the sun begins to set on our exploration, leaving a gentle glow of contemplation in its wake, we are left with a profound question. What does a future where we hack our dreams truly mean for humanity? And perhaps more importantly, are we ready for it? Are we ready to embrace this new dimension of consciousness, to navigate its wonders and its challenges with wisdom and care? The answers will not come easily, but they will emerge from thoughtful discussion, from careful research, and from a deep, abiding respect for the exquisite complexity of the human mind. The journey into the depths of sleep is also a journey into the depths of ourselves. May your own dreams, whether wild and untamed or lucid and controlled, continue to be a source of wonder, insight, and peaceful reflection. K. Cole, thank you for joining me on this quiet voyage into the dark future of sleep and the captivating possibilities of dream control. As the sounds of my voice gently fade, I invite you to carry these thoughts with you into your own night, into the very heart of your dreams. May your slumber be peaceful, your mind be clear, and your nocturnal adventures be filled with quiet wonder. Until our next gentle exploration, sleep well and dream deeply.